Tony, take it away.
Okay. So since the meeting has happened, DM may or may not have to sneeze in the next 30 seconds. Okay,
DM
there we
did
go.
not sneeze.
Sorry.
We're good.
Okay, DM had to sneeze. Okay, we're good. Okay. So since the meeting has happened, the sun has begun to dive for the horizon, and at this point, all of the guards are heading towards the entrance of the city.
Okay.
Also, do we get Dakota rings for being part of this whole guard contingent? Seems like a legitimate question.
We'll see.
Rings don't usually fit Congo hand.
We'll get you a special one made, buddy. It'll be fine. Congo, we may need to take defensive positions. Look, people. Generic NPCs.
Yeah.
Alright. So you guys are all kind of waiting there, and you can just watch the sun start kind of diving behind the hills.
Have I ever told you guys I really love the color of the sunset?
What's your favorite color of the sunset?
The oranges. I love the oranges.
The fruit or the color?
Both.
Anyway, let's be on our guard. Let's do this.
So as you're waiting, you can kind of see up off in the distance what appears to be a trio of people making their way towards the front gates. And you can't really make out who they are at this point.
Okay.
But that's because they're still probably about 100 feet away from you at this point. What do you do?
I step forward a bit
Oh no.
and ready my sword.
Okay. Potty, Kongol, do you do anything?
Perception.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good idea. Can I do one of those too?
Sure.
Oh my god. Let's see perception check.
I don't notice anything.
There's a person up ahead, but that's about the extent of it.
+1.
Kongol, you can make out that one of the figures seems to be feminine, and only one of them seems to have any kind of armor.
Congo, they'll be easy to chop up.
So they continue making their way forward,
Mm.
and they start to kind of come into sight, and you see one of them is riding a horse, and she is flanked by two individuals.
Congo, there's horse meat on the menu tonight.
I think the horse is good. I think the two individuals flanking her may be a problem.
Yeah.
So they kind of begin walking, and as they get to right about here, Cladaus kind of angrily yells at them to stop where they are. The guards immediately take defensive positions, but the people in front of you, they don't appear hostile. In fact, they actually look about as ragged as you guys did. They don't look injured, but they certainly look like they've seen their share of issues. And the woman on the horse holds her hands out in front of her and explains, no, look, we're not here to fight. But I'm telling you, the next group of people might be, and that's what none of us really want. All we want is your help. And Claudaus has kind of had enough of this already, and he yells at her, liars! Your men came in here, picked a fight with my guardsmen, claiming that their home needed to be here. They stabbed 3 of my countrymen before we dispatched them. 1 guard was lucky to survive the night. The other 2 lacked his fortune. And Yennefer's, like, the woman's head in front kind of sinks. And she says, they did not have our best interests in mind. They acted on impulse rather than reason. Please, I beg of you. We can avoid more bloodshed if you'll be willing to hear us. And Claudaus at this point kind of has his sword readied and kind of pointing at her, like almost taunting her with his blade, saying, I don't know about you, but I say that we exact our own justice. An eye for an eye, and we're still not even. And Maris kind of butts in. She says, enough! And she looks to the 3 of you and says, do you know these people in front of us?
First things first, can I do like a diplomacy check to see if I can diffuse this situation at all? Hello?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
I must not have come through there. Maybe a little lag
Yeah.
spike.
That probably didn't help at all.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily hurt the situation, but Maris kind of reiterates the question, do you know these people?
I don't think so.
They don't look like bad people. Excuse me, people. Do you know about Erithus?
The woman on the front, she kind of says, why, yes, the god of civilization. It was his prayers, it was my prayers to him that he answered. He told us to come here and speak with the people.
Okay, now I'm going to do an insight check to see if she's telling the truth about that.
Okay.
Because I will call bullcrap if your insight is.
You're not immediately 100% certain, but there isn't necessarily anything there to tip you off that she's not.
Okay, these people seem cool. They're like Erithus.
So you're convinced of it. Kongol, Adi, what about you?
Insight, right?
Yeah.
What was my insight? I don't remember what my insight modifier is. What was my modifier? For
Your
this?
modifier for insight is 3.
Okay.
Kongol, was that an insight check?
Yes.
I'm convinced.
Yeah, you guys are convinced that everything seems to be on the up and up with these guys.
I don't know about you guys, but they seem cool.
So Maris kind of intones, you believe they mean no harm?
At least this group doesn't.
I would
They're
ask
telling
them
the
to
truth.
drop their weapons, and we shall protect them if anything occurs.
The 2 men flanking her kind of step aside and up next to her. The one on the left drops a greatsword down onto the ground, and the one on the right drops a quarterstaff.
Ooh.
And the lady in the middle?
Has no weapons.
Okay.
Her
Okay.
hands are out in front of you during this whole speech, her hands are out in front of her the whole time. So
Guard
if she's got
captain.
any weapons, she would have to reach for him anyways, but she's not moving.
Guard captain, these people have disarmed. I think we'll be okay.
You kind of look over to him, and he's not saying anything, but you can see kind of like a like that bulging vein kind of like popping out of his forehead. His teeth are clenched. Like he's not exactly thrilled about this at this precise moment in time. You can tell he was angling for a fight.
I'm gonna do
I would ask your clerics to
diplomacy.
heal these people.
Where's my diplomacy?
These people obviously need medical attention.
Diplomacy is 6 for you, Adi.
Okay. Diplomacy +6. Welp.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure what you were
you want to
intending
try to
attempt.
fix it?
I mean, you didn't really necessarily make anything go the wrong way. They're already like, look, we're disarmed, we're here, we don't want to fight. So
Maybe we should keep them here.
whoa, what check was that, Kongol?
That was my diplomacy.
Holy cow. Okay, yeah, you definitely you're able to talk with them and you are definitely able to confirm their message. They are definitely not here to fight, but they're like, but time is of the essence, we need you to do something for us.
I will agree to your terms. You may pick your weapons back up, but don't you dare try to turn them against us.
So the
Kongol?
the two men pick up their weapons, and the woman turns to the man on her right, and she says, "Stalio, you need to hurry. Get back to Davi and the others. Tell them they're not willing to fight. You must hurry." And he kind of nods wordlessly, jumps up on her horse, and kind of rides off in the distance, whereas the other man kind of stays with her.
No, Kongol, you shouldn't have let them.
Let's see how this goes.
The two kind of exhale in relief, and they kind of start walking towards you, and they bow. And the woman says, "My name is Yennefer, and I thank you for your willingness to listen. The men who came here a few nights ago were outcasts of our own community."
What happened to your community?
She goes on to explain that about a week ago, her home village of Shriv was assaulted by something huge, monstrous in nature. It happened not long after the rain of fire in the skies across Yalaton. Whatever it was huge, chased us out of our village, then annihilated our homes. Shriv was all we
This
knew.
have something.
What'd you say?
Could this have something to do with the war?
It could.
Mm.
We escaped with not much supply, barely enough to get us by for a couple of days. After that, some of our people grew desperate for supplies after hunters took too long, and decided that trying to ransack some local villages might be the best of ideas. Most did not agree, but a few with influence did, and as such, they decided to send out a small party to scout, and that was the plan, was just to scout, with the idea that a return might mean that more people would be needed to take the village, fight as needed, or to perhaps reason with them. But our people need to be unified. You must help us.
As an outcast myself, I agree. We shall unify your people.
You took us in. Why not these people too?
Mara steps forward and says, "We might be able to help you, but it also may be more prudent to speak with your leaders about what they actually want to do to move forward. Can you please wait until they all return?" And she says, "Yes, I would be willing to. But do you have anything to drink?" And kind of like instantly, like Klodos kind of looks over at Maris, and Maris kind of nods her head. And the guards kind of all start almost like forming, almost like a formation, as if to basically say, like, "Look, we'll guard you as you go in the city. Like, come on, let's get inside. Let's get to the tavern.
Oh,
Let's wait for your people to get back."
I was about to offer them water skin.
So
I was about to say that we should bring the guy that just created the water for you.
So, but Yennefer and her follower, who she turns and addresses, "Come, Draska. Stalio and the others will be back soon."
Guys, I think we should stay here.
Why?
I don't know. I just...
They said there were others behind them. I would like to protect the gate.
Yeah. She said something about the others not being so keen, being peaceful.
Isn't that why she sent the messenger, though?
Maybe. Hopefully the messenger can convince them. But we should stay here.
Kongal can stay. You two go.
Congo, buddy, if you're staying, I'll stay.
I was planning on staying anyway.
Maris, we'll watch the gate until the rest of their group comes in.
Maris
If that's
kind of
okay
nods
with
and
you.
says yes.
I swoon a little bit.
You swoon over everyone but me and Congo.
I've known you for way too long. I'm sorry.
Kongal swoons over his ex.
We know, buddy. I ship it.
I
Oh,
think we all
God.
do. Swoon.
Alright, so swoon check, Jesus Christ. Okay. So all of you choose to wait then for the rest of them to return?
Yeah.
Okay, so Yennefer and Draska then are kind of escorted into the city. And the wait is about an hour, but upon that time, you see the messenger kind of leading the way, Stalio. And then behind them, you see two men. You see kind of an average-heighted human, kind of in dark brown leather with a cowl. But then you also see, kind of off to the side, a dwarf wearing blue and brown chieftain's robes. And you can see from behind them, like, their village population is, like, trailing them. There's probably about 50 or 60 people.
Can I do a perception check to just see the general mood of everyone?
You may.
Everything's fine, guys. Everyone's
Oh my
happy.
god.
Yeah, everything seems fine.
Okay. I think I'm gonna do a perception check too.
Okay.
What can I see with the 20?
You can see that the people are, like, they're a little bit restless, but they're hopeful because it seems like something is finally broken in their way. Like, for once.
Okay. I think we'll be fine, guys. We just need to be a bit cautious and
Yeah.
nice.
Help, as you always say.
As Ion has taught me.
Hello, you glorious people. Welcome to a civilization blessed by Erithus.
The two walk forward, and you can kind of hear the one standing in front of you as he looks over to the dwarven individual. You kind of hear him say, "We could have taken this town, old man." The dwarf kind of walks over and slugs him in the side, and he says, "I've had enough of that kind of talk out of you. They're here to be reasonable with us, and if you don't drop this vendetta, I'll kneecap you while you're not looking.
I like this dwarf.
Besides, we may not need to worry about a new home, if they're willing to help us." And Maris kind of calls out to the two of them, and she says, "Can I assume that you're the chieftain of the former village?" And he kind of steps forward and says, "Yes, I am Zeron. And this is my co-chief, Davi. And he kind of steps forward, but he kind of cuts a look at, like, Maris, like, ugh. I don't like you.
That's mature.
How in my brain I'm like, how can someone not like her?
So he kind of just looks, and Maris kind of nods her head, and she says, I believe it would be best to take this inside of the city at this point. It might be a bit crowded for your villagers, but we promise you that we will do what we can for the time being.
They'll
As I
help.
said, a glorious beacon of civilization.
But Alf kind of dismisses his soldiers and tells them to head to the inside of the city, and they all kind of head out there.
We shall join.
Yeah.
He
What
says,
is one of
we
this
will be
one?
meeting, he says to kind of you guys, he says, I'm sending a couple of my soldiers to go fetch Yennefer as well as her guest, Truska. Everybody else is to meet with us in the guardsman's room.
Of course, Captain.
Agreed.
Understood.
Would you have us escort our guests?
He says, if you wish.
I think it'd be a good
So-
idea, guys. Make sure nobody heckles them.
So the group of you all head to the guardsman wing without pretty much any events at all.
All right, I was winning. I'm just gonna stay in a corner. Just stay in a corner, safe.
I'm gonna go look at the weapons for a minute. Then I'm gonna go back to my seat.
Alright, so now that everybody's in here, he kind of asks everybody to kind of have some seats around the fires.
Congo, are you going to sit? Good man.
So Maris and Claudius asks Zeron to kind of explain what happened, and he goes into detail about this massive metal monstrosity that came upon the city a few days after the rains of fire struck around Yalaton. And at the time they believed everything was okay, but this thing, it came like just basically it came like hell unleashed, and it just ripped his village to not sure exactly what happened, but he also explains that shortly before the attack, his son Aaron went missing, saying that he had seen something near where a fireball landed outside of the village, and he had taken it with him, but Aaron had warned Zeron, don't follow me. I fear I will fall apart if you do. And Zeron asks his son, where do you need to go? He says, I don't know, but I need someone with immense magical knowledge. I need a shaman, an arcanist of some sort.
Hmm.
Otherwise, the tale he regales is almost identical to Yennefer's. Of course, a little bit more colorful, since Zeron seems to be a bit more of a storyteller, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Can I do a history check to see if I know anything about the fire raining down or anything like that?
Sure.
Okay. I may know something.
I was
It's
gonna do one too,
possible.
but
So when they're referring to the fires in the sky, they're talking about. They are actually talking about the war.
Okay.
hmm.
Do I know anything about who's being fought in the war or anything like that?
Not really.
All right.
Sweet.
Well,
How shall we
sounds,
proceed?
it sounds like they've been through the ringer.
What did you want our assistance for?
We're pretty good
Zeron,
at slaying vile beasties.
Zeron kind of sighs
They
and
are.
he says, "I'm not entirely sure if taking our home back is possible, but if it is, I really, really want your help."
If it guarantees you and your people will leave our friends alone, we shall help you take back your village.
Or even if it helps secure an alliance between your two sides.
Ooh, alliances would be fun.
He begins to think and he says, "I believe that there may be a potential way to get our home back, but I don't want to go with just our people. It could end badly."
I will join.
You have my sword by the name of Eris.
They are my friends and have always been. I'll follow them.
Well, as you say you'll
And babies.
follow them, Eugene busts into the room looking frantic. He says, "Oh, there you are, there you are. We have a problem."
Oh no.
What
He says,
happened?
"Maris, we've got another visitor. He looks really beat up too. He's currently being taken care of in the caretaker's wing. I need you to bring our new friends. I want to see if he knows them."
Let's go.
This could be something important.
So Klaus kind of just sits there and he's thinking, I'm just gonna. He says, I will wait, and he kind of asks for the rest of them to stay, but he kind of gives you guys a Zeron to go with, since it's obviously his people. And so you guys make it into the room, and you see that there are medics kind of slaving over this guy right here.
Hmm.
And he's just laying on a bed. He looks pretty beat up as well. His eyes, though, are wild. Like he's been running non-stop for weeks, and he's clutching a singular metal shard in his hands. And he's just saying, "It just won't stop reforming. Please, you need to help me break this thing. It just won't stop going back together." And 3 more shards float up from around him, creating a steel pyramid with the shard in his hand. And he kind of reaches for it and he kind of tears it apart. The pieces kind of clang around him in the distance. He says, "It's always tried to insert itself in the ground, but I can tear it apart before it does. But it won't stop reforming like it's meant to be something." And he kind of explains frantically, "I've been searching for an arcanist, a shaman, someone who might have the powers to tell me to be what this is. But I have to keep running." And Zeron asks, "From what, my son?" And he kind of looks up, strains, and like passes out.
Let's
Okay,
keep the pyramid apart. I shall crush it with my axe.
continue doing that, Congo. I'm going to do an Arcana check to see if I know anything about it. Or
Okay.
can guess anything about it. Nope, no nothing.
Nope.
I'll do the same and see if I can figure out something. Maybe I'll be lucky this time. Arcana 3. Well, I have failed, my lord Ian.
Apparently, I'm better at religion than.
Oh, wow, yeah, you really don't know anything about this thing. All you can just tell it was just made of metal.
Alright.
So you're kind of just looking at it, and, Zeron kind of just wanders over, just really He just kind of plants himself at the foot of his bed, and he says, "This is my son that ran away."
Oh. And I
Oh,
guess this
jeez.
so I guess this pyramid must have been the thing he found, is it?
He says he didn't show me what it was,
Hmm.
but
Can
you
I
can
try
see
to crush it?
you can see the 4 shards starting to float back together again as if to create a pyramid.
Congo?
Congo, we are trying not to kill the man.
I would like to try to smash the pyramid.
Okay.
I'm
Go ahead.
guessing
Check.
a strength check.
Yeah. Okay, you grab the pyramid and you're able to tear it apart again.
Hmm.
But you're not entirely sure what it is. Eugene kind of pipes up from the back and he says, "Well, I may know someone of help. It was someone who I learned under before I became a medic here. Because prior to that, I was a monk of the Zoroastrian faith in the hills. I served someone who taught me well and who could see into the depths of energy itself. And I can take you there."
How far away is this person?
Maris kind of shoots kind of a concerned look at Eugene and he says, "It would be a day's travel there and back. It may be a little bit much, but they are traveling with supervision and a medic, so I'm sure they can withstand the travels. I also know a route that should be safe."
I'm healthy as a horse, so I'm good.
They can pick me up if there's something wrong with me.
That's kind of why she keeps us around. Gonna be honest.
No, it's not. Maybe.
She weighs less than my axe.
That she does, my good friend.
So I say we go on this journey.
You got my vote.
I'll follow.
Maris grudgingly lets you go and she says, "Be safe and be back swiftly." And she immediately starts like tending to work on this kid. And Eugene kind of says, "We leave now."
Let's go.
Addie, are you gonna swoon over Eugene too?
No.
Okay. Just making sure.
So your travels take you overnight through a safe region of the area, and as you arrive at sunset, you actually find yourselves kind of near a monastery. This monastery, it's a small cropping of huts with a few individuals training outside, and as they see Eugene walk up, 3 of them stop and bow with reverence.
Oh.
So you were just a monk here, right?
And he says, "I was."
I'm gonna do a perception check to see if that, or would that be insight to see if there's more to that than he's saying.
I mean, if you want to, that would be insight, yeah.
All right. I will do that just because I want to know if there's more to it.
I have a feeling there's more to it, but
Wow. So you catch on pretty quick that when he says just a monk, he's hiding something about his services. He was definitely more than a monk here at this enclave.
I'm just gonna say this, Eugene. I'm a paladin, and people don't treat me like that.
Eugene kind of looks at him and says, "You could say I had some form of experience around here." And they kind of look to you, and the 3 kind of initiates are kind of like, they're awed kind of by the presence, and you can like hear one of them whisper, and they're like, "Master Eugenius? I thought he was just a legend. Grandmaster Suna never speaks of him as though he were real."
oh. Kongal, I think we're not in Kansas anymore.
Where is this Kansas?
Let's find this master.
It's a saying that the religion of Iron teaches you.
Religion of Iron is weird.
It's all about
So-
knowledge.
So Eugene begins to walk inside, and you kind of hear this kind of like shocked cry, and she kind of beckons all of you inside. And inside, you can see sitting on a meditative mat. You can see Master Suna, or Grandmaster Suna, rather.
Yo. Hail Erithus.
She bows her head in reverence again in the presence of Master Eugene. And she says, I foresaw your arrival in the eye of the light. You bring with you, however, darkness. And she kind of extends her hand, and Eugene kind of puts the scattered shards of metal in her hand before they start reforming into a pyramid. And she says, from this order comes chaos. The order it sows is deadly. And she kind of shoots the pyramid in the air with her hand and roundhouse kicks it into pieces.
Can I do a marriage proposal?
She says, come and sit, for you have much to learn about what you have brought me.
Please teach us.
Yes, ma'am.
Eugene, standing on the rug that he is, he kind of bows his head and kneels.
I'm gonna do what Eugene did.
Okay.
I'm just standing here.
I don't know what to do. I'm too confused by the swooning.
That's why I'm just following Eugene's lead.
Okay. So she kind of has the pyramid, and she begins, as you all close your eyes, you can kind of begin to feel almost as if your spirit and your energy separates from your body. So almost like you're having this out of body experience, and you can almost
Wow.
see and almost interact and feel the energy just swimming around you as if you're floating in an ocean of it. And
I feel like
she
Erithus
says,
would probably think this is blasphemy.
she explains that what you have in front of you is something that would be discord to this energy. And then the image of the pyramid manifests in all of your visions. And you can see that the energy that you're in kind of slowly begins to lose its vibrance. It begins to become almost stale. And then it becomes lifeless and begins to become caustic in nature. It kind of goes from this vibrant being to just being this very almost poisonous and evil feeling. And she says, so this is what I think it is. She says, this pyramid in front of us, this is what is known as a diffuser.
A diffuser.
What these things are, they're used by the society, the Steelheart Society. These things are placed into the ground, and then after using an activating spell of sorts, they begin to terraform the area, draining it of all of its energy, its life force, and sustenance, and eventually bringing in the materials needed to create a Steelheart portal, which then brings in an outpost for the army to begin to expand. Diffusers are often put in the care of high architects. They're creators of giant structures or machinations as necessary. They are also the ones who know the spells required to start and stop the process of outpost creation. In other words, what this pyramid is trying to do is it is trying to reform itself, plant itself in the ground, and it is waiting for its master to find it. It is waiting for its architect. As it forms, it gives off a brief signal as to where it is that the architect can attempt to follow. The architect is coming for this thing. And the architect, I can sense he is angry. And it is coming in a gigantic machine that will not be an easy task to destroy.
So this little pyramid can bring down damnation on us all.
It can.
I assume
Well,
even if we let them have their pyramid, they will still come after us.
they'll probably kill us for the pleasure.
She says, if you let them have the pyramid, then that is what they want. And they will probably eliminate you as obstacles anyways.
We know way too much for their liking.
Is there a way for us to
Precisely.
destroy the pyramid?
She says the pyramid only stops when the high architect that was entrusted to it is destroyed. Because each
So?
diffuser is embedded with one piece of life force from an architect. It means that that is forever bound to that architect. Destroy the architect, the diffuser becomes useless.
We have to go into the ruins of the other town.
Destroy
What
the
if
gigantical beast?
what if we set a trap for them? If they will come for it, then we'll know where to find them.
Where would we lay this trap, though, Congo? That's actually not a bad idea.
The other
feel like
towns
it's
in ruins, there shouldn't be any casualties.
That's what
But if
I
they're already
read.
there, how do we set the trap?
Are they still there, or are they following us even here?
Has it reformed since we left the town?
It also might be a good idea to have reinforcements on this. It may not be something we can do by
Grand
ourselves.
Master, do you know of an area of which we can hide out and swarm them?
She says swarming this thing may not be the easiest thing in the world. The best thing to do is to lure it to you, though. But be sure that you have armaments that are capable of dealing with it.
Congo's axe rips through anything, I promise.
She says you have not fought anything of this nature before. I promise you this.
As
We-
powerful as my
we-
axe is, we do need reinforcements.
And we promised to protect the town that helped us.
Well, we may have to get help from them. Their only real option.
Does anybody know about pyrotechnics? Maybe we could lay bombs for their arrival.
Or maybe we could try and have them play Tejas with us. You know, just ruin them with that. Take all their money.
Eugene, do you think the city would help us if we asked?
He says we will have to tell them what is going on, but I am sure that they'll be able to lend assistance of some sort.
It may be a good idea to go back and see what they think about a plan before we decide on anything. There's safety in
think-
numbers, especially when dealing with giant monsters.
That's true. I think that the most important thing is to convince them that we need to go far away from the village.
Agreed, but we shall return to the village for assistance first.
We'll have to continue making sure the pyramid doesn't reform until then.
We have Congo here for that.
We've done so thus far. Shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, Eugene kind of stands and he says, well, we know what we're up against. I think we need to make it back to the city.
Good idea.
Agreed, let's make haste.
So
Let's
you
go.
all kind of stand up, and she blesses you all and bids you farewell, and she says, come back soon, Eugene.
And freaking Tamis and I are swooning a little bit just before we leave.
So the the group of you all head back, and you all make it back to the guardsman wing to explain what's happened. They're all kind of listening attentively, and they're saying, so your plan is you want to ambush this thing. But just people clearly aren't going to be enough to stop this. Is that what you're saying? Glados kind of asks you guys.
Well, if you have
Yes.
artillery, it would be helpful.
Zeron
sort
kind of
of-
stands up. Go ahead, Conkle.
Some sort of explosives, maybe, if even my axe might not be enough.
Zeron kind of stands up and he says, it doesn't matter. My village may have been destroyed, but my people are safe. My people are ready to fight to reclaim the village. Do you have raw materials for building weaponry? And Claudaus and Maris kind of go, well, yeah, what are you planning? He says, we have siege smiths among us. They will be able to build something that will help. And so, over the next few days, the villagers actually team up, both the ones from Shriv and the ones from Karavitz, and they begin kind of turning these raw materials, and they're getting ready to assist in taking down the machination that is surely coming. The kid is in rough shape, but he assures you that victory could still happen with everybody. And over the next few days, the villagers actually are able to successfully put together a group of about about three that can actually travel trebuchets.
Nice.
We shall make war.
So the next morning comes, and messengers from outside the city arrive to tell you all, guys, we have an important message. We have seen this gigantic machine, this stalker, roughly 20 feet tall. It was still tromping around the ruins of Shriv like it were looking for something there. Zeron kind of stands up immediately and he says, the time to act is now. We need to prepare the trebuchets for battle. Gather our people. It's time to go home.
I swoon a little bit because of the attitude, but just a tiny, tiny bit.
You're not going to roll a swoon check?
No. It's not enough to distract me, I promise.
Alright.
So, in the morning, everybody kind of assembles together, meets up at the front gate, and the plan is kind of laid out by Claudaus before you guys begin to head out. He draws up a plan that basically says that you'll all be coming in basically through the ruins. Zeron will be acting as a guard. Stalio, Davi, and Dronska all agreed to stay back here at the city to guard Maris and the others. Just in case this thing goes south, they'll have strong protection. Claudaus has actually named Stalio as his successor should something go wrong out in the field. So Maris and Stalio are acting in command of the city. And he says, Zeron, lead the way. Make sure your siege smiths are on the trebuchets, for I don't think the trebuchets will be coming back. And I myself don't know if I'll be coming back either, as he kind of looks over to Maris and over to Stalio. He kind of hefts his sword and joins up with the three of you.
Oh, yeah.
So he
Good to
says
have you with us, Captain.
He says it's a long journey ahead, and you're going to need all the help on the battlefield you can get from me.
Your assistance is appreciated.
So
Thank you.
Davi kind of stands. He's basically at the attention with the rest of the guards of the city. And Stalio kind of stands there, basically you can kind of see him a little bit concerned. You can kind of see him mouthing, God, I hope I don't have to take over this guy's job. But he says, Zeron, lead the way.
Let's go.
I am ready, and so is my axe.
And my blade.
And my quarterstaff?
We march.
Someone give us a tune.
Lord. Dun, 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 dun,
So you guys all begin to start heading towards Shriv. And the village, you kind of, like, as you kind of make your way over and through the hills, through the Felstis Crest, and you can kind of see Shriv, or at least where it used to be. As you get closer, you kind of get a sense of the destruction and the devastation that this thing left in its wake.
Oh, jeez.
This is not kosher.
What's kosher, Thomas?
Me.
Oh. I sigh, knowing that he will not explain.
So Zeron kind of leads the way, and you can kind of see he's still kind of, disappointed and really kind of sad that, this is what his village, came to be. It's completely annihilated. They had a statue towards, their deities and such that they worshipped in the center of the city, now completely in shambles. Houses and huts, still smoldering from the events of days past, and flames still kind of just burning. The tavern looks like kind of okay on the outside, but you can see just thick gouts of smoke just pouring from the rooftop, so you can tell that this thing has been burned from the inside. The wooden fences alongside the side of the village are completely a shambles. Like, this thing, it came through, like, this was a place that was very, very badly hit by this.
Well, this is horrible.
So I say the plan is to set the trebuchets up in an area, and wherever they're pointed towards, we plant the pyramid, and as it comes towards its pyramid, we'll get the scoop on it.
As long as it's not Vecna, everything's fine.
So, you guys kind of start getting your stuff set up. Where do you direct the trebuchets to be from?
I was gonna say, like, here, but what's everyone else's idea?
I'm thinking set them up almost in a triangular pattern, but kind of hidden so that it won't see them in its advance. That way it would have to go and stop all three of them separately instead of them being in one spot.
Okay.
That's a good idea, Congo. Let's go with that idea. I was actually trying to place the target.
I say we can plant the pyramid in where the statue was, the center point of the battlefield.
I'll stay behind.
You always stay behind.
So where are you
I
setting
always need
trebuchets?
to protect you guys. Yeah, around here. I think.
Yeah. There, Congo did it. I was thinking like right here, but as far as like the pyramid spot would be like right here. There.
That trebuchet doesn't seem to be standing on ground.
Shh. Don't peek behind the curtain.
Okay, Okay, so you guys kind of bury the pyramid kind of in the rubble, you say?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, well you do, and you sort of wait for a few minutes. And all of a sudden, you slowly feel this just this shaking in the ground. Just this boom. And it seems to be getting progressively more violent.
I fear no evil, for Erithus is with me.
I hide behind Congo.
I'm Tamis.
Sorry. I mixed them up. I'm sorry, I'm the worst.
So all of a sudden, you kind of just hear this loud, just almost like this piercing screech, as if something is descending from the sky.
Guess it's a perception check time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, perception checks. Okay. That doesn't help. You're not really. Oh, that doesn't help either. There you go.
Yay! Go
Tamis, you can make out through the smoke that whatever this thing is it's big and it's very fast.
Big and fast. Okay.
And you're not given much time to get the information out to the party before it slams into the ground.
Again, I say, Mother.
You see it kind of tromp forward and it starts looking. It starts scanning the battlefield.
Okay.
Okay.
But before we begin combat, we're taking our break. So we're going to go ahead and take our break, and when we get back, we're going to be rolling our initiative, and we're going to begin the battle.
And someone's going to bring me my brown pants.
Oh, Jesus.
This is gonna be fun, guys. Stay tuned. This is where things are about to get real crazy.